Today, we're talking about the Elite Eight marketing activities that will really help you and your firm become a champion firm. Now, you've heard me talk before about it all starts with a strategy, being consistent, and providing value. What does that really mean? What are the activities that you need to do to really make that come alive? So, if you've been playing around with the marketing madness this past week, you got a flavor for these. But if not, don't worry. Today, we're going to give you the nuts and bolts of why eight were particularly selected and why they're so important to you and your business and how it might make sense for you to take that first step forward in each of those areas. So I'm going to work kind of for reverse order because I want to save the one that won the whole championship, why I think it won it to the end. So let's start with asking for feedback or getting client testimonials. Why was that selected is because people want to see social proof. We're in the world that we really appreciate and value other people's third parties endorsements. You've seen this probably all the time in your own business when you get a recommendation, somebody reaches out and says, hey, you should call, John about your financial services. When they advocate for you, it makes it so much easier that you really aren't having to ask for those introductions. It's the same way in terms of getting those feedback and those testimonials. And it's the thing that people want to give and give back to us. They appreciate being asked for our feedback, but we often just don't think about doing it. So the critical step here is when you have provided the most value, not necessarily when you have signed the dotted line, but when people are like, wow, this was so helpful, that light bulb moment, that's the time to ask ideally for, hey, would you take a minute or two to provide some feedback for us or a testimonial of our services? You can use this. Don't think that you can't. It can be done for our 99% of financial services and advisors. You can use them. So we know there's some process to that. We're here to help you with that. If you have questions, we can make that reality. But why is it important? Because people appreciate and value other people's endorsements, that this is somebody that's credible and somebody that's has their best interest at heart. So the next one, moving on to, this was team two, making a change to your website or your social media profile. Why is this included on here? Because we've probably all been guilty of it and thinking, well, I updated this years ago, but is it still really relevant? People are going to be out there, prospects are out there searching you, Googling you when they do hear your name or see you online. They're going to go out there and they're going to check you out. And if there's incongruency in what they see of like, oh, that team member's not there any longer, or it talks about you work in this field, maybe this medical market, but that's not really the type of clients you're looking for anymore, they're going to start to question other things in your business too, and how confident they might be in doing work with you. You want to be able to attract people to your business through your online presence, not just the people that are hearing about you, but all the other people that are just out there looking for your services. So that's why it's so important to have a digital presence that's really speaking for you and that's accurate and relevant today to your ideal client. Team number three was to make an introduction or to share content that might resonate. This goes perfectly back into, our whole SVC approach of providing value first. When we provide value and we share things that we think might be really just helpful or relevant to someone, they are much more likely to want to continue a conversation with us because we led with value. We led with how can we actually help them, not give them theories, but how can we actually help them and give them something specific that helps them today, or we know that we're thinking of them and whatever might be going on in their lives. So showing up for them, being a human, connecting makes a huge difference. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you're starting with value and that relationship. Team number four, inviting someone to connect with you or to follow you online. So, if we're talking to an audience of 5, how much can our audience really grow? It's going to be a lot harder. It's going to take a lot more time. So, you're connecting with people every day. Do you also invite them to follow you online, subscribe to your newsletter, connect with you in social profiles, get your different communications from you and everything so that you can stay engaged and continue to build that communication channel. And we've got to show up in multiple places because everybody prefers to receive communication in different ways, right? Where they get their news or what they actually prefer. And we're all super busy. So even more so that they're not going to see your all of your content in every different platform in the way that you distribute it. So asking them how they like to be able to connect and inviting them into your communities is a great way to stay in touch. The other reason, and this might be the most important reason of why it's important to connect and invite people to follow you in a digital way, is because of 10-3-1. Not everyone that you meet today or you have a conversation with today is going to buy tomorrow, right? We all know this. So, how do we have a way to stay connected with them in between the times that maybe we're picking up the phone and calling them to be able to show that we're still relevant? We're adding things of value to them. We've got to have a way that they're receiving that. So, that's where this comes really into play. Team number 4, share your pitch or your value proposition. This is my favorite one. This is the one above all else. I think that most people do, but we're not super clear on, and we can continue to get better and better with, is talking about the problem that we solve. How do we help people understanding really your niche and where you can have the most value? The you don't want to be, using the analogy, you don't want to be the chocolate chip cookie in a sea of chocolate chip cookies, right? There's too many choices and they're all pretty similar. Be that brownie, be different, be that eclair, be something that's unique, because that's going to make it so much easier for other people to introduce you and to think about you automatically, to be like, this is the person that you should meet. This is the person that specializes in this. This is a person who understands you. But it starts with, you've got to understand that message and be putting that out there. So it's uncomfortable. And sometimes we want to say, like, well, we can help everybody. I'm guilty of it myself. But the more we lean into that and continue to work on it and put it out there and get that feedback, the better we will get, the more introductions you'll get without even having to ask. Team number 5, delight someone or thank them. We're all going through life. We all have highs and lows. But those people that reach out to us, especially if you're somebody whose love language is about words of affirmation, which is one of mine for certain, those people that recognize that and show that support mean all the difference. They're the ones that we're going to remember down the line. I was just thinking today, I was in a idea collective idea slam, and I didn't even ask for any feedback, but Pat was so great of saying, hey, how are things going on your end? What can we do to support you? And everybody had great ideas and suggestions. And they're like, hey, I can tell you're a little bit down. Stick with you. You're doing great things. That means a lot. So how can you do that? It doesn't have to be a grand, extravagant gift. It can just be, a handwritten note. It can be a quick text message, but taking that time to make sure that when we're all busy, we've slowed down and we're checking in with people, we appreciate them, we're showing gratitude, makes a big difference in creating raving fans for your business, raving fans for you and your personal brand of who you are. Number 7, share or comment on content online. We're so concerned most of the time in terms of, what do we put out? What should we say? How often should we say it? Where should we say it? What does it look like? Let's get it right. Let's make sure there's no typos. That's like my nemesis. That we think about that sometimes to a fault, that we forget about just showing up for other people. So going back to giving the value, this is so important, because if you are genuine and you actually want to support people and care about what they're saying and want to engage with them, showing up in their content in a meaningful way is the best way to do it. You want to start a conversation. It's not always about just scheduling that appointment and trying to make a sales, right? It's about making a connection, not just connecting to someone, making that true connection. So take that time to comment on their social in a genuine way, to share their content, to pass that newsletter on. How can you be that influencer for them? You want people to be an influencer for you. It's so much easier to reciprocate things for people that do the same for us. So give that some thought. And the last team of the Elite Eight, the one that won the championship, and why I think it won the championship was because it's to posting to social media. I think it won because it's one of the easiest things that you can do. It's one of the ways that you can really show that you're human, that you're vulnerable, that people can get to know you. They can start to like you even more by showing who you are as a person, some of your own challenges, how you can help them, and you establish a deeper level of trust. It's one of the fastest ways to do it, one of the easiest ways because we don't have time to be face to face with everybody every second of every day, but we can connect with so many more people online. So I think it's the one thing that you don't have to spend hours getting it perfect. You can spend 15 minutes a week putting out something real time about what are you struggling with? What questions are you hearing from clients that maybe are relatable and other people are wondering about too? Just be you an authentic way. And I think that makes all the difference because people want to do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So, how are you establishing that for your clients or your ideal clients? How are you developing that even further? So, I hope that when you think about these Elite Eight, you think about, hey, these all individually seem pretty easy to do. Some might be just a little bit more involved than others. But if you start to build time for your marketing, 15 minutes a week, maybe to start with, 30 minutes, maybe as you get going, into just thinking about, am I doing these things? What can I do? What can I share this week? You can build on it and incrementally, it's going to get better and better as you go. So don't hurry. You have to have it all perfect or you have to tackle all of these today. You might be saying, hey, I don't have time. I get that. Let's pick one. Let's get started. What's holding you back? We all want more raving fans. Let's do it together. Let me know how I can help you. Get in the game. The time is now.